Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and I want to talk about Kingdom Hearts because it's the 20th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts. And, you know, as a person who played Kingdom Hearts all this time, I have to let you guys know about Kingdom Hearts. Well, I mean, I'm not saying that I need to let you guys know, but I'm going to let you know my thoughts and feelings about Kingdom Hearts and how much it meant, you know, over time for me. Funny enough, this is a funny thing because remember, you know, when I was growing up, you know, we didn't have access to everything too. So I was unfamiliar with everything that was going on in Japan. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even discover Japan stuff until, you know, middle school. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's one of those things where you kind of think about it. You're like, wow. You're like, oh my God. Like, this is Japan's animation. This is Japan's work. While, you know, kind of, you know, a lot of us didn't know at the time. You know, especially if you're not a video game head or whatever, and being a little kid. And of course, you know, it's through Square Enix, or at the time it was called Squaresoft, with collaboration with Disney, because apparently they shared an office together. So that's something. The first release of Kingdom Hearts was March 28th, 2002. And that was, I think I was like about to go to middle school, I believe. You know, I was a little kid, so I'm not going to sit up here and lie. But I will tell you this. I had told my mom, this is before I was aware of anything of Japan or whatever, and before, you know, the internet wasn't where it was very accessible. Because back in the day, you know, when I was growing up, it was dial-up. You know what I'm saying? And even then, you know, as a little kid, you didn't know what to search for. You just saw things online, but the internet really wasn't there like, you know, it is now, or very accessible. So anyway, I remember telling my mom this. I remember telling my mom this one time, and I told her I had a dream. And I told my mom, I said, I had a dream last night. And she was like, what's the dream about? I said, had a dream about this boy, right? And he had like some kind of key, but with like looked like a Mickey Mouse symbol. She can vouch for me. It was kind of funny. And I said, he was hanging out with Disney characters. Like, and she was like, oh, really? And she thought I was having a dream about myself hanging out with Disney characters. I was like, no. I wasn't hanging out with the kid. It wasn't me. It was some kid. I didn't know what his name was. And I said he had spiky hair, and he had a key sword or something like that. I didn't even know it was called a keyblade. I just said that he had a giant key and he could hit people with. And again, this is before I knew about, you know, video games that heavily well, and this is before I was, you know, found out about the game. So I was just thinking, like, it was kind of cool because he was hanging out with Disney characters, and Disney characters were going around different worlds or whatever. And she was like, oh, fascinating. You know, as a parent, didn't really care. She was like, oh yeah, that's nice, sweetheart. That's nice, sweetheart. And, you know, I kind of told her my little story about how the boy, the vivid thing that I can remember was the boy swinging. No, he was in the land of Tarzan. Sorry about that, guys. Allergies. But he was surfing on trees. And this is probably the reason why I dreamed of this is because I did watch Tarzan, like, I think probably 2 nights before. And, you know, back in the day, you know, I think Tarzan had already came out by that time, or I saw plenty of videos that were promoting it because it was upcoming. It depends. I can't remember, you know, it's been a long time. And I remember them talking about studying, you know, legends like Tony Hawk in order to get the tree surfing down for Tarzan. So that's probably why I was thinking that. I was like, oh yeah, this boy, he had a key, and he had like these big old shoes, and he had this Mickey Mouse keychain or whatever. and he was surfing on trees with some Disney characters, and that's literally kind of what I was like telling her, and she was like, oh yeah, that's nice, sweetheart. And you kind of, after that you kind of tell your story, and then you go about your business or whatever and stuff like that. And then that's when I saw the Kingdom Hearts commercial, and it clicked, and I said, Mama, look, that's what I was telling her about, because I remember Simple and Clean came on, and they were promoting all those Disney characters with the boy with the Keyblade, and I had said, Mama, look, that's what I was talking about. And she was like, you mean a video game that they're just now promoting? And I was like, yeah, because again, you're a little kid, you don't know that kind of stuff. And she thought it was kind of one of those, oh, okay, I don't know how you knew about something that's just now being promoted today, because again, we weren't really that connected like we used to be. So of course, it kind of, your parents just like, oh, that's interesting that you dreamed about something ahead of time, because us kids, when you're little, you kind of dream about things ahead of time, or maybe have a vision. Who knows? It's all about how you deal with that kind of stuff. But anyway, I knew I had to get the game, and I remember getting the game, but I remember getting it on PlayStation 2, and Lord and behold, since I was a little kid, I know I played it, and I know I beat it, but I couldn't tell you the story at the time. I was just a little kid, just like, yeah, we're playing with Disney characters, and then I saw Final Fantasy characters in there, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. You know what I'm saying? And then, also at the time, Game Boy Advance was a major thing too. So after Kingdom Hearts came out and it kind of ended like that, they released Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memory, and I got that, and I remember going on my Florida trip. And I remember, I remember playing my Game Boy Advance like all day long, and I remember playing Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, and at the time I didn't think that story was such a big connective thing to Kingdom Hearts that will lead into Kingdom Hearts 2, because I think it was when I got in high school, I believe, Kingdom Hearts 2 was coming out, or I was leaving middle school, I believe, when it was coming out. And I remember getting the book because I was excited. I got the video game day one, and I got the big massive guidebooks. Oh man, if you guys don't know, back in the day, video games used to have guidebooks too. And I used to love when I got a video game and they had a massive guide. I had so many guides. I had Pokemon, I had the Mega Man, I had Kingdom Hearts, I had Final Fantasy. Like, if there was a guide for it, oh, I'm getting the guide and the video game, And it was just good little fun and stuff like that. And it's kind of funny, like how you think about it now, 20 years later, when you're like, wow, look how everything kind of grew and changed around. You know what I mean? Because you have this kid, Sora, who connects hearts and minds and, memories and past and present and stuff like that. It's a little bit complicated kind of thing, but it meant a lot to people back in the day. You didn't really think about it until, you kind of go back and you play the video games and you understand like how this one boy is tied to everyone's hearts and how all of our hearts can connect, even when we are far apart. You know what I'm saying? And then they had Itaka Hikari. Baby can sing, okay? Simple and Clean. Best video game opening song ever. God, I gotta stop goddamn snoring, and I can't even goddamn help it. Usually I try to hold off, but man, you guys ever deal with pollen? Please tell me you guys dealt with pollen. Oh my Lord, the pollen done got me. I took my allergy medicine. I took the little hazel spray thing, and now it just feels like it's not working. But anyway, back to the story. Kingdom Hearts was an epic tale that, you just I would have never thought that Final Fantasy characters and Kingdom Hearts characters, could coexist in a universe together. Because think about it, you know, when you're a little kid, of course you think about this kind of stuff, but you would never have thought that this was something that could really happen. And then it does happen in all your wildest dreams. You know what I'm saying? And it's a fantastic series. Yes, it's very convoluted. Yes, it's very, my power is my friends are my power kind of speech, but it's downright beautiful once you get past a lot of the convoluted nonsense that Tetsuya Nomura did. Because, you know, Tetsuya Nomura, he's the one who created the game and stuff like that. He was also like the head character designer of Final Fantasy VII, which, you know, I love me my Final Fantasy VII. And I will get the remake, but I'm gonna wait for the remake until all of the remake is completed. And, you know, what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna go back and play the PlayStation 1 Final Fantasy VII game, just so I can get a refresher. Even though I know the game, I kind of want to play it where my current memories are, because when you're a little kid and you're playing these games on hour or whatever, you don't really appreciate them like as much as you do now. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think I'm gonna go do. I'm gonna go play back Final Fantasy VII, and I'm going to get my memories back for that. Get that memories, because, you know, all memories are tied to one another with hearts. All hearts and minds are all connected, because everything reconnects to Kingdom Hearts, right? and what's so funny is I always thought that the moon actually does shape like a heart. I always thought that our moon would do that, because being an impressionable little kid, you like, oh my God, Kingdom Hearts. Like, I wonder, is it based off of the fact that the moon might, because you know how the moon has these very lunar times of how you can see the moon and all that kind of stuff. And I was wondering, I was like, man, does the moon actually have a moment where it looks like a heart in the distance or whatever? And is that how, when Tetsuya Nomura looked up at the stars, he was like, wow, I got this idea. You know what I'm saying? So it was a pretty interesting adventure to go through all the worlds, to see these Disney characters that you grew up watching and communicating with them and teaming up with them to take on villains and Heartless and whatever other thing they wanted you to do. Nothing with Donald and Goofy, even though I kind of wanted Mickey Mouse to be there, but I understood, you know, that's Disney's mascot. You can't really have him there. But I mean, nowadays he appears often and stuff like that. It's just kind of cool to kind of see how this game evolved over 20 years, and to this day, it's amazing, and it means a lot to people. That I kind of wish Disney, because, you know, Disney has full rights to it, even though it's a collaboration, Disney owns the rights to it, and I wish Disney would actually, you know, market on that. Like, could you imagine if Disney World built up Kingdom Hearts parks or themes or whatever inside of the world of Disney? Like, the game literally invites itself to like Final Fantasy stuff and Disney stuff all at once. Like, could you imagine seeing that kind of stuff? And I really wish they would, because it's such a meaningful video game series, and I love to this day, which I hope we don't have to wait long for Kingdom Hearts 4. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody got time for that. I'm not waiting another 10 years, because I waited 10 years for Kingdom Hearts 3. And that was a little letdown, Square Enix and Disney, because Disney interfered a little bit too much. Disney, stop interfering. It's a video game. It's a video game. Let these characters do things. You know what I'm saying? You guys weren't afraid in Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and Chain of Memory, but after that, it's like y'all got involved in stuff like that, especially with Kingdom Hearts 3. Oh my God, Kingdom Hearts 3, what the fuck that shit was. You know, even though I'm not saying it was a bad game, it just was lackluster. You know, and the fact that none of the Final Fantasy characters showed up, are you kidding me? or the fact that none of the other characters were playable, except for when you do a downloadable content thing. And even then, it's like, okay, you only get to play with them in that moment. You don't get to play with them outside of anything else. And you should, because the PC mod community is killing it. They are killing it. And it makes me wish I had me a gaming PC so I can play, because I definitely would get Kingdom Hearts 3, and I would download everything I would download everything, and I would be having so much fun with Kingdom Hearts, you know. Hopefully, you know, you learn your lesson from Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3. Let's get Kingdom Hearts 4 off the ground. Let's not take 10 years. I think 2 to 3 years is good. You work nonstop. You know, you try to get the game good as best as possible. Disney, don't interfere that much, and you got something going on. I think the minimum between 2 and 5 years. That's it, because we're waiting for games that are out so long. But then it's just like y'all always want to try to upscale everything. You don't have to upscale everything. Just make a good video game, please, without all the goddamn patches, and please make the characters playable. My God, please, because I don't know what the hell Melody of Memories was. Shit, that should have been a game where Kari go through memories and fight people or whatever, not some musical bullshit. Like. But for me, I think what really resonates with me is the whole connective of memories and hearts. I think because that's such a strong suit for the series, for the franchise itself, that it means so much to people, especially when you have characters like Riku or Ventus and Roxas and stuff like that. I can connect to those three characters because I do have this wayward thing about myself where I'm always like on the edge, you know, like kind of Riku and stuff like that, but never been manipulated, but always on that edge between the road of light and darkness, if you get what I'm saying. And then with Roxas, you know, want to be your own person and stuff like that, not what everybody else think you should be. Or Ventus, want to be happy or whatever, but you have this great darkness within you that's been extracted from you, or I mean not extracted from you, but this great darkness that, you know, either you could go one way or the other, you know, you just never know. So to see kind of like that, or even with Aqua and her journey to save her friends at the cost of, you know, sacrificing everything for them, you know what I'm saying? So the hearts are there. You know, the story is there. It is so beautiful once you get past all the nonsense. It's such a beautiful video game franchise and series that it does mean so much. And I'm glad people around the world can feel connected to these characters, and that they're using Disney and Final Fantasy characters to make a enthralling tale, to be honest. And I would love to see more from the franchise. I can't wait to see what the franchise feature is. But Kingdom Hearts, to me, will always be something special because it showed me like what a bit of creativity and crossover from the pond can do for a franchise, and how it can change people's hearts and minds. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.